Hello and good evening, everyone. This is Suzanne Knabe-Nicole from Police Science Doctor. Police Science Doctor is the website where you can go to find out about academic research in the fields of investigative psychology, forensic psychology, and criminology, and other related fields. And you can actually see them turned into something actionable. So rather than you guys, the frontline police officers, law enforcement workers, and everyone who works in the field having to go through academic journals and find something actionable that is relevant to you, I do that for you. So the police science snippets that I'm going to be talking about this evening are something that I email to everyone who subscribed to the Police Science Doctor email list. Every Tuesday, they get an email with 3 golden nuggets extracted from police research or police relevant research, something they can actually use, think about, or act on straight away. I've got 3 such snippets for you today, and I will go through them shortly. I also wanted to announce that I'm doing a live interview with somebody absolutely amazing this Thursday. So that's 2 days from now, 7 p.m. BST. That's 2 p.m. EST if you're in the New York area. So this is with Professor Ray Bull. Let me just remove the logo so you can actually see his name properly. So Professor Ray Bull, he's an absolute legend when it comes to investigative interviewing. When I was doing my master's in investigative psychology and then later my PhD, his name was coming up over and over again on many of the articles that I was reading when it comes to interrogations, investigative interviewing. And so I'm very honored to have him on the show, so to speak, on Thursday. And you can join in live. You can ask questions of the professor himself if you want. You can also watch it later if you can't catch it, but I've emailed everyone on the email list the link. If you do want to join the Police Science Doctor email list, just go to policesciencedoctor.com. So the other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to premiere the new promotional video for the emergency stress pit stop course. So if you were able to catch the webinar on mental health and policing, this is where you can watch the replay. Just policesciencedoctor.com/MH, and that stands for mental health. I had some fantastic feedback about this webinar. I'm the first to say it was a bit too long. It was 3 hours long. Nobody complained about the length of it. Everybody can watch the replay, the individual sessions, or the 2 parts. The first part was the challenges, the problems, and the second part was the solutions. So, you know, everyone who watched actually got a lot of solutions and ideas for things that they could try out and use in their force straight away. And there were some fantastic solutions. I had interviewed 12 people, practitioners with relevant experience and experts when it comes to mental health and policing. And we were talking about being suicidal, stress, trauma, fatigue, and all of that stuff. And there are so many things that could be done a lot better. And I actually summarized all these things and put them on a poster for you, and you can download them. If you go to that link, policesciencedoctor.com/MH for mental health, you can download that poster. It's free. You don't even have to sign up for the email list if you don't want to get that poster. Anyone can download it. I hope that people will actually put it on the wall and put some of it into practice. Now, my co-host from the webinar, Ginny McKenna, she and I actually created a course together that is going to be released very soon. We're closing enrollment on the 18th of June. So you've got until then to go to this link and get some information on it, see if it's for you. Basically, you know, if you were at the webinar, we talked a lot about how police officers don't ask for help because they risk losing face. They fear losing face. They think it will harm their reputation. They fear it will harm how their colleagues think about them, what it might do to their career. And that's why they don't ask for help. And then what happens? Things get worse and worse. They're ticking time bomb. And, you know, worst case scenario, they hurt themselves or someone else when this really should have been avoided or could have been avoided. There are some internal provisions. I think almost every police force and agency will have some, but we heard from many of the speakers that many officers don't take up these partly for the reason I just mentioned, that they don't trust that it will not come out and it won't change the way that they are seen in the organization, and also they don't trust that it's really confidential because it is internal. The problem is when you go externally with someone who's a psychologist or a counselor or a coach, if they don't have any experience of working with police or having been in the police, it's very difficult to actually make any progress, perhaps, because from the experience that Ginny was talking about, so she had people come to her as a coach to help them, work through their stress-related issues, who had been to counselors before, and they had to leave it because they had to spend too much time explaining the job, explaining the challenges, justifying why things were done a certain way, because the counselor or coach just was not familiar with the profession. Now, Ginny, who's creating this course on helping police officers develop the tools to deal with stress on the job, off the job, basically to be able to respond with a clear head to situations rather than react, rather than be in this fight or flight state all the time, be really tight and wound up and ready for emergency, and not being able to switch that off. This course actually gives people the tools to handle that, to bring the system back down, to clear your mind and be in control of yourself, be in control of your reactions, be in control of your life again. This is what the course does. And I'm going to play you this now.
So if you had someone who could reach out and say, do you know what, I've done that, I've worked the shifts, I've done the locus protection, I've looked at the dead bodies, I've dealt with the suicides, I've dealt with fatal road accidents, I've dealt with it, I've been there, I've lived the life, and I know what it's like not to have enough sleep and still be expected to get up and deal with it. I've done all of that. So to have someone who understood that, so that I wouldn't have to explain what the role of a cop is, would have been amazing. I could have just forgotten about that part of it and just spoken about what I needed. I could have got the help I wanted.
So that was the premiere of this particular information video. I'm really excited and really proud to be able to put this up on offer, because it is something that will help a lot of people. These are tools that you just don't learn in the police academy, but you should. You really, really should. This is something that can change your life completely, and I'm really proud to be working with Ginny on this. So go to policesciencedoctor.com/GM1. That's Ginny McKenna 1 if you want more information on the course. And as you saw there, the enrollment closes on the 18th of June, and we're actually contacting well-being coordinators, well-being professionals, occupational health advisors within police forces and police agencies as well, because if they get 5 or more people onto the course, and they get a 30% discount on each of those people. So we really want as many people to be equipped with these tools that are just not routinely being taught yet. Maybe one day there will be, but until then, you've got this. So I'm hoping that as many people as possible will be put on this, so we've got healthier police officers out there. Now, let's get to the police science snippet. So as usual, I've gone through academic journals and I've extracted 3 bits of information for you that I think are something you can use straight away, think about straight away, or try to put into action in some way. The first one is about risk-based policing. So you don't just police randomly anywhere, you go where the risks are the greatest. And this is related to hotspots policing, but there is a bit of a twist to it. So directed patrols in locations that might attract violent crime and engaging with businesses at these locations, as well as reporting issues such as broken streetlights, abandoned cars, lack of liquor licenses, and vacant buildings to partner agencies, successfully reduced violent crime in a city by 22% over 12 months. And the link to the original article is in here. You can read about that study if you want, if you have access to that particular publication. As usual, I always put the link to the original article in there. You don't take my word for it. I'm passing something on that somebody else has done, so please go and read the original document if you can. Now, the interesting thing was, so hotspots policing is already very, 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 very effective in deterring crime, and not actually at the time when the police officer is there and actively patrolling and being visible and engaging with the public, but it deters crime for a few days after that. Now, when they did a study in Western Australia, it deterred crime for 4 days, up to 4 days after the initial patrol. It might be different in different locations, but obviously that's why we need to replicate that research in other places, other countries, other cities. So hotspot patrols, putting police officers at the right time at the right locations, is already very effective. What they did with this study, and I think it was Kansas City in America, with risk-based policing. So not only did the officer go there and conduct some visible patrols, but they also reported anything that could possibly, bring down the neighborhood and could potentially attract crime. So if the street lights were broken, they called, I don't know who you call in America. Here in the UK, it might be the council. If there was an abandoned building, they would call someone to come and board up that building, so it can't be it can't be inviting to people who just basically want to get up to no good in there. If a shop was not sticking to the agreements and the licenses they were having, they were reporting that as well. So they were actively looking at, okay, what in this area could attract crime and what can we do about it? And there was a partnership approach. It's not all just down to the police, but when the police are there and they see it, well, why shouldn't they report it? So they did that over 12 months and they reduced violent crime by 22%. That didn't cost them any more money, really, because they were just sending police officers out to work at specific locations at specific times. They used a certain code when they were calling something in, so that they could actually research properly, how many reports were coming in that were part of this study project. And I urge you to basically look at this document and try and replicate it if you can. The second police science snippet for today is about suspect interviews. And this is a study that I think Professor Ray Bull, that we're going to speak to on Thursday evening, took part in. According to jail inmates who took part in this study, suspects are more responsive to interview strategies that involve rapport building, respect, dignity, giving them a voice, and a commitment to the truth. Now, we're probably going to talk a little bit about the read technique on Thursday as well, because someone I very much respect as a scientist and a police psychologist was talking to me a little bit about the advantages of the read technique and not being coercive, but being allowed to imply that the police have evidence against the suspect that they don't actually have. Now, in the UK, that is illegal. We're not allowed to deceive in any way. In America, so this person believes it levels the playing field a bit, and it would be interesting to find out what your views are. So if you've got any comments on that, please put that in the chat. In terms of interrogating a suspect, do you think it's appropriate to level the playing field because the suspect can lie to us? Should we be able to imply that we have forensic evidence on them and bring that up in interview, or should we not do that if it's not the case? I'd really like to know what you think about that, actually, and maybe we'll get to speak to Professor Ray Bull about that as well on Thursday. And the third science snippet for today is witness interviews. So witnesses' evaluations of certainty about items they recalled was found to be reflective of these items' accuracy. So people who are giving a witness statement, and they were certain about some of the points that they said, and they were feeling less confident about whether some other things they said were actually true, or if maybe they remembered wrongly. Now, in this study, it was found that actually those bits of information they remembered, they felt very confident about, that they were right about it, were actually correct. And the ones they were less certain about, they were less likely to be correct. So if you need to prioritize where you're going to put your lines of inquiry and what you're going to be doing first as the investigator, you'll have a better chance at giving more credence to the bits of information that the witness themselves was more confident about. So there you have it. So risk-based policing, suspect interviews, and witness interviews, those are the science snippets for today. And as usual, you will have these in your inbox every Tuesday. If you're on the subscriber list, if you're not on the subscriber list, just join policesciencedoctor.com and just leave your details in the form that either pops up or you will find it in the footer of each web page. So I hope you found this useful. I will see you on Thursday with the wonderful and very lovely Professor Ray Bull, and I will see you then. Good night. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this content useful. You can get access to each episode's transcript with key learning points, timestamps, and references if you get yourself onto my mailing list. Just go to the main website on policesciencedoctor.com, and on the bottom of each page you will find a sign-up form for notifications of new content. Just enter your first name, your preferred email address, and the type of organization you work for. You will not get any spam. This is just for me to let you know about new content and for you to get access to all the transcripts.